Episode 3. Bukhara. When Boris Karloff was interviewed on Parkinson, nearly 50 years ago, Parkinson asked him what is the scariest story he'd ever heard. And he said, there is one story which has dominated his life, and it's this one. In Samarkand, many hundreds of years ago, there was a rich merchant, and he was just going to go to his midday prayers when he heard a noise downstairs, and he went to the staircase to find what it was all about, and it was his servant, a servant he loved like his own son, and he was shouting and scared, and he told him to come up and see him. And when the servant came, he was deathly white in appearance and completely frightened out of his mind, and all that the master could get from him was, "Please, get me out of here, get me out of here, get me out of here." And the merchant asked him, "What has happened?" And he said, "Well, I went down to the souk to buy food like you told me, and there I saw death standing there, and I turned round to face her as she put her hand on my shoulder, and the look in her eyes was of such terror that I know if I stay here, death will surely take me." "Where can you go to escape death? No one can escape death," said the wise master. "Yes, I can. I know. I will go to the village where I was born, up in the hills. I will go to Bukhara. Death will never find me there." And the master said, "It is 130 leagues from Samarkand to Bukhara. You'll never make it today." "If you lend me," said the servant, "your fastest steeds, I will fly like the wind, and I will reach Bukhara by night time, and death will never reach me there." The master knew he could do nothing to dissuade his servant, so he kissed him on the forehead lovingly and said, "May God be with you, Inshallah." And the servant raced out, and the master could hear the horses being assembled and the galloping away in the distance. He settled down to say his midday prayers, and after he rose up, and he thought he would go down to see death, because he personally had no fear of death. And he went down to the souk, and he saw death standing there with her back towards him. And he went up to death, and he put his hand on her shoulder, and she turned round and faced him, and she saw no fear in his eyes. And the master said, "Oh, death, why did you frighten my servant so by the look in your eyes?" And death said to him, "Oh, master, the look in my eyes was not there to frighten him. The look in my eyes was one of surprise, seeing him here in Samarkand, when I must take his soul tonight in Bukhara." I searched far and wide in different Slavonic traditions to find, for instance, why is death a woman? And I don't know the answer to that. There are no myths that have about death as a woman. And this amazing fact of his running to his own death unwittingly. That's a thought to leave you with. Blessings on you and those you love.